Well, I think I began today, in getting ready for the reunion, I've been able to uncover about half a dozen Old Westbury graduates who are not coming, but what they've been doing over the last 40 years, and been very impressed. And today I heard that Chris Hart, you have contacts with him, and so hopefully at the reunion we'll plan a more systematic way to capture the life accomplishments looking back on 40 years. For those who may not know, of course, after Old Westbury you were president at Bryn Mawr College for a number of years, and then you were a United States Senator from Pennsylvania. But can you bring us up to date, because we're asking everyone at the reunion to tell us what they've been doing for the last 40 years, and they can emphasize any part of it in a brief summary so people know what you've been doing since you were senator and what you're doing these days.
It's fascinating to me, what I've learned already of what people have done. It makes me think that the very turbulence in arguing for what good education should be imparted something like good education. Although John Coyne, a Peace Corps volunteer and colleague of mine in the Peace Corps, always used to say, we've got to watch out when we say what the Peace Corps did change people's lives, like Paul Tsongas, the senator, saying it changed my life. John said there is that other side, that the people that got drawn there were changing their own lives. And I think the balance of what we the college did to change lives and set them on such interesting courses as so many of the graduates or participants at Old Westbury had, whatever weight you give to that, I think from reading the emails today and the spirit that comes through, it makes me realize what an amazing, interesting group we had. Now, David Reisman, the sociologist, warned before we started that if you really want to succeed as a college and to have a college that breaks the conventional grip and does bold new things and shakes people up, don't get people that are already shaken up. He said, you have, either with faculty or with students, you can't have all yeast and no lump, or vice versa would be true. Now, what's happened to me is that, like many of us from Old Westbury, I like to think I've been following the question where it leads, and the questions that interested me the most, knowing that accident comes in. So after I was beaten by Rick Santorum in the Republican wave of '94, extraordinarily like the Republican wave of 2008, not 10, except that the Republicans swept both houses, the Senate and the House then. I got drafted by Clinton to be head of the Corporation for National Service, the National Service Program and the Service Learning and the senior programs. And they were on life support the way they are right now again. The House had zeroed out the new National Service Program, and Clinton thought, coming from the Senate, I could help with the one way of saving it aside from the President's determination, which was the Senate. And it was a long road until the Clinton administration was over, but we grew from the original combination of VISTA and the new AmeriCorps of maybe 15,000. We grew to 50,000, thanks to the support of the President and many Republicans along the way who changed their mind and supported us, so that the way was clear to hope that even with George W. Bush winning, that national service would grow. It was in trouble once again on a partisan way until 9/11. And President Bush, in his response to 9/11, thanks in part to a great guy named John, two people, but John Bridgeland, who was his national service man, he called for the doubling of the Peace Corps and increasing AmeriCorps from 50,000 to 75,000 members. And before his term was over, it had gotten to 75,000. Then, with the next turn of events, the growth of support for a quantum leap further of national service and the doubling of the Peace Corps really coming to pass, which hadn't happened, grew out of Senator Kennedy's initiative, in due course Obama's support, and I spent, first place, I got drawn to Obama more than anyone since John Kennedy, and more deeply and more fully than for anyone in my lifetime, and I still feel that way today. And I'm one of those who thinks he's the best president since Lincoln. But in any case, I campaigned almost full-time for 20 months in the primary in Pennsylvania and 10 states. And though one felt a small drop in a bucket, it was a great experience because it was the biggest bucket of that kind I've ever been in. The whole citizens movement that brought about the election of Obama. And during it, the Service Nation Initiative that I was one of the ringleaders in, along with City Year and other National Service Program people, we had Senator Kennedy and Senator Hatch join in a bill for this quantum leap for AmeriCorps to 250,000. Now McCain had proposed that along with Evan Bayh several years before. McCain and Obama jointly, as senators, became the initial co-sponsors of the Hatch-Kennedy bill. Obama, in his first address to Congress, asked for the health care bill to be put on a fast track, and secondly, that the National Service Serve America Act be put on a fast track. The health care bill took a long time, but thank God was finally achieved. The National Service Serve America Act, which got named the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act, was successful. By the 100th day of Obama's administration, a majority of Republicans in both houses and all committees supported it. It was a moment of tremendous bipartisan jubilation. Vicki Kennedy said it was Ted Kennedy's happiest hour of the hard year before he died. And we were on our way. And the election of 2010 put us back at the bottom of that mountain that Sisyphus tried to get up.
Right. Well, I suspect that if we took a poll at Planting Fields on Saturday, we'd find that a great majority would be of the same political persuasion as far as the upcoming election. Let me ask you a final question, if you would care to just make any concluding remarks to your fellow faculty and staff that helped bring the Old Westbury experiment about, the students who sacrificed their conventional educations to come to Old Westbury as a place that attracted perhaps unusual, offbeat type individuals and personalities. If you have any parting words for those who assemble in Planting Fields about that experiment.
I'd love to be hearing their words. My own thoughts, as I've been reading some of the things they've heard, is that the common seminar that we came to an agreement we would have, not the Great Book Seminar with set books alone, and not a do your thing, whatever faculty or students wanted to do, but a common seminar that everyone was going to participate in the community, that included a half or some substantial fraction of the great books, the best books, the set books over time, that some of which we all should taste and do together, but an equal number of books that the students particularly take the lead in proposing, and the faculty that are not on the canon of great books. And that is a very, I think, contribution that we made, and I wish more people would find a way to discover the equivalent thereof, because for one thing, one of our faculty members who left because the years were too turbulent and went back to UCLA said, you know, the trouble with you, pointing to me, as we took a long walk before he retreated back to UCLA, he said, you just are not able yet to perceive the depth of the alienation of our generation. Now, I think he's probably right in what he meant. I don't know that alienation is really the right description, but the vision of a great many of the students drawn to Old Westbury, the literature that moved them, all sorts of that dimension I've probably missed in my life. And it would do me good to be in a common seminar that was, seeing that I got more of the modern vision, such as it is, and vice versa for others. And education, whether it's in that fashion of one class, one way at one time, it needs the combination of both those things. It needs to explore all the new dimensions that technology and science are pushing at us as challenges, that many of which seem beyond me. But we also need to come together and read the best literature of our human culture, and how do we do that, knowing that we need all of us to become citizens of the world and recognize that we're part of one great community on one little planet whirling through a vast universe.
Well, thank you, Harris. I think we should sign off. Let me say that the idea of another reunion in a few years is a great one. I think maybe what we ought to do is have the reunion on one day, and then for those who wish to come a day early, we'll have this seminar, and we'll let you suggest the names of people to bring to it, and we'll find enough former students and faculty to come and have a day of sort of intellectual stimulation, as you've described it, followed by a more nostalgic reunion type activity the next day.
And good luck to everybody that's coming together. I wish I were there.
Well, we wish you were too. And so this is Bruce Weniger signing off with Harris Wofford again in Washington on the 25th of May 2011, and thank you very much.
Let me